אז מצטרף אלינו סעיד אברהים, עורך העיתון סומלילנד כרוניקל. مساء الخير, good evening سعيد, أهلا وسهلا والسلام عليكم وشكرا على هذا. أول مقابلة للصحفي من Somaliland. This is the first interview of journalist and person from Somaliland, so we want to thank you for this interview. And we want to ask you first here in the studio, we want to understand why Somaliland separated from Somalia.
A very good question. So actually, a little bit of a context. Somaliland actually was an independent country because it actually got its independence from Britain in 1960, June 26, 1960. And then it was recognized at the time by 35 countries, including the United States. So that's an important context that everybody needs to understand. Now, only 5 days later, there was this, ill-fated decision to join the other part that was at the time known as Italian Somalia, to form this country called Somalia. So now, that's, and then a lot of things actually did happen that culminated in, a genocide that actually, basically killed, like hundreds of thousands of people in all of the main cities of Somaliland by the brutal dictator Saudi-Arabien. And again, there was a rebellion, and basically Somalilanders not only fought, to rid themselves of Saudi-Arabien, but they have regained their independence and soon after decided to not be part of Somalia.
We heard that this is a very quiet and secure place, and it's a democratic, and it's built on a clans that they build from themselves a new land. So what you are asking actually from the world, recognition, maybe a deal with the Trump about refugees from Gaza, what exactly you need?
So a couple of things, right? And obviously, like you said, the president, whose video you've actually shown when he was in Dubai, he was elected by a landslide, and he unseated the incumbent by over 60% of the vote, and that's amazing. This will be the 5th time that Somaliland actually held elections, free and fair elections, and actually peaceful transfers of power. It is something that is kind of unheard of in the region. Not in Ethiopia, not in Djibouti. Kenya might be a close second, right? Now, when it comes to what it is we're asking the world, it is, one thing that people need to understand is, like, especially when the president of Somalia says Somaliland is part of Somalia, it's important that everybody understand that that particular president doesn't actually even run Mogadishu, let alone the rest of Somalia.
Yeah, we know, but what brought you to the decision to ask for recognition of the United States and to tell to the world that you open your gate to Palestinian refugees?
Now, I want to go back to that a little bit, because Somaliland government has actually been, by the way, again, I'm an independent journalist, so I don't actually represent them in any shape or form.
Yeah.
I just put that out there. But the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who actually just gave an interview, brought up the same thing, and basically his contention. Neither the Israeli government nor the United States government have actually approached us about the issue of Palestinian resettlement. So I am of the opinion that I think a lot of people are trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Now, even if that were to become an issue and Somaliland were to be approached, I actually think that there needs to be a framework that governs, something as monumental as this. So I don't think the issue of recognition of Somaliland should be tied to, the issue of Israeli and Palestinian that has been going on for, again, we all wish that you actually have peace, but I think it's a completely separate issue. It shouldn't be conflated.
Okay, and a peace with Israel, straight ahead, what's the problem?
Well, there's absolutely no problem. Zero. And I'm going to get to that in a second, right? Now, as far as Somaliland is concerned, I really do think we're very pragmatic in the sense that, making sure that we actually form meaningful bilateral ties that are not actually anchored in whether they're stereotypes or things that actually don't exist. In other words, it's important that any sort of relationship between Somaliland and the state of Israel is not viewed in the lens of the Middle East conflict. It should be viewed as a brand new
Said, how are you?
relationship.
How are you, Mr. Said?
Mr. Said, Eddie Cohen, our doctor here.
بدي اسالك سؤال. انا بحكي عربي احسن، ما بحكي انجليزي.
طب ليش اعطيتني ما اعطيتني انا بحكي عربي كمان؟
شوف، انت قلت لي لما كان عندكم مجازر في الصومال السفير الاسرائيلي هو الوحيد الذي دعمكم. خبرنا القصه، فيك تحكي بالانجليزي ما في مشكله.
Right. Now, so let me explain that. I was actually, I wanted, I shared that with the producers earlier. So in 1988, when the brutal dictator Siad Barre was leveling and basically killing our people in 1988, in 1980, actually in 1990, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations was the only person to actually raise the issue to the Security Council. So that is something that I'd like every Israeli to actually know, that there is that history, and we are actually something that we'll never forget. Now, again, there weren't a whole lot of Arab nations that were sort of clamoring and telling Siad Barre to stop what he was doing. Right? This is actually known as the Isra genocide. We're talking about, hundreds of thousands of people massacred simply because of their, tribal membership. So
okay, so Mr. Ibrahim, when the peace contract between us gonna be for real? We invite you here to our studio.
He was in Jerusalem last year. He was.
Wow. طب لا ما طلع. Okay. So in your next visit, you're most welcome here.
Now, there's just one other thing I wanted to really recap.
No, we don't have time, my friend. What you want to say, keep it for the studio. Next time you will come here. And until then, shukran wa inshallah salam ala al-kull.
Take care.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you.